Thanks for joining me this week for your Golden Nugget. I'm Joanne Swensard, Know It Sooner Computer Training, and this week we're going to be looking at how to word wrap text in Excel. Let's get started. For this demonstration, we're going to be using one called Golf Tourney List 2. It's available on my website, knowitsooner.com, in the Downloads Excel section. And we're talking here about a couple of things today. Taking our list here and dragging it across to be able to line it up over top of columns A to H. And then we're also going to talk about what happens when things get cut off here. So first of all, wouldn't it be nice if guest list was between A and H? There's really nothing in I. This is just flopping over into I. So if I just click on A1 and hit center, all that does is center it within the current column. So I would want to select from A to H, and I'm going to click on merge and center. Looks fantastic. Now, if you have 4 or 5 lines and you wanted to do all of them together, like I have 2 here, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to select both of them from A to H. Now watch what happens if I try to go merge and center. It comes up and tells me it's only going to keep the upper left value. So I'm going to have to retype Family Golf Tournament. I don't want to do that. So instead of merge and center, I'm going to go here and I'm going to say merge across. Now it didn't center it, but it did merge it. Now all I need to do is hit center. Wow. Isn't that fantastic? And as things change, like column B gets smaller, or if we inserted a column or something, those things stay centered between A and H. And if you ever change your mind, you can always go in there and unmerge the cells. That's about the only place I would do merging. Sometimes if you do merging within your data, you run into some problems. But it's great to do there, and then you could make it nice little color, you can make it bigger, bold, and it just maintains its centering. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is this one right here, cell E4. Notice how it's cut off. So is this one actually. Look at my formula bar. It says price of adults meal, price of adults, price of kids. This one is kind of okay because it's flopping over into this column. But when we go to do our formula under here, equals this plus this, you can see that it really doesn't need to be very big, this column. Sometimes people will go up between E and F and they'll drag it, or they can double click it. And now it's not cutting it off, but it really doesn't need to be that big. So I'm going to kind of manually size it. I think that it should be able to be about that big. Now I'm going to click on cell E4 and I'm going to go wrap text. Look what that does. I'm going to center that, make it look a little nicer. And I can do the same with the other ones. In fact, I'm going to select all of these and I'm going to say wrap text and center. And you'll notice that some of them are wrapped and some of them aren't. F, G, and H, they're wrapped as well as E, but the other ones are not wrapped. Why aren't they wrapped? Because they didn't need to be. Column D was big enough. It didn't need to be. So if I drag it, oh, it still doesn't need to wrap. I finally drag it small enough. And you want to watch the numbers underneath it, because if the number was 1,000,000, then it would probably need more room than what I've done. So sometimes you can do that. You can just make it small. That one doesn't look very good. Just kind of manually do it, make it look good. Column E is kind of bugging me that it's on 3 lines like that. So if I make it just a little bit bigger, there we go. Now it's on 2. Now you do have another option that you might not have noticed before, and that's up here in your home tab. You know how we have left and center and right? You've got top, middle, and bottom. It was already on bottom. Bottom is the default, meaning that things are going to be along the bottom. Look at how first name and number of adults are lined up. They're lined up on the bottom. If I flip that to top align, now they're aligned on the top. The middle It's kind of like centering, but from top to bottom instead of left to right. Not sure which one I really like because they're different number of lines. I don't know that I like that one. I'm just going to keep it on bottom for now. Because if you're like me, you'll want to do something about this first name and last name. So if I make those smaller, yeah, they work. It wraps, but I'm also cutting off some of the text underneath. So I really need to make them bigger, but that one's pretty good. I'm going to make the last one, try to wrap it. Okay, that wrapped it, but it's cutting some stuff off. If I make it big enough to not cut the stuff off underneath, it doesn't need to wrap anymore. So what I'm going to show you is the Alt-Enter key. So I'm going to act like I never even typed anything in here. I'm just going to hit delete. This is something that I want you to think about the next time you're typing in column labels. Last, and not space name, but I'm going to go Alt-Enter name. Now that's just like forcing a hard return in there or an enter. Just like if you were typing in a Word document or an email. Please let me know if you have any questions. Enter. It automatically goes down to the next line. This does the same thing. Alt-Enter forces a break within the cell. So the difference here between first name and last name is only wrapped. Last name, it wouldn't have mattered if I hit wrap text or not. It's always going to be that way, that wrapped. If I make column A huge, last name is still wrapped. If I make first name huge, it says I don't need to be wrapped anymore. I'm going to flop out and use all my room that I have. So if I said, ooh, I don't want that, I want to force it, I'm going to go edit my cell. I can either do that right in the formula bar or in the cell itself. If I double click on it and I click on the end, get rid of that space, I'm going to go Alt-Enter and then enter again. So I have forced a return in there and enter. So that's what I might consider if I was doing all of these. I might go number of Alt-Enter adults, number of Alt-Enter kids. And I like doing that too because you can kind of make these look a little more uniform, like price of adults meal, price of kids meal. I like this one, price of kids meal. It looks a little bit more proportionate. So look where I am in the formula bar here. I'm right in front of the A for adults. I'm going to backspace, Alt-Enter. Now it's nice and uniform. So it might seem like a little bit extra for you to do when you're typing, but man, it looks better. Total price. Let's do it this way this time. Double click inside the cell in front of the for, Alt-Enter, total price for employee. So now if we make any of those big, I guess I haven't done them all, but if we make them big, they stay like that. Oh, I guess I didn't do the kids meal. I think I only did this one and this one. Couple over here. So I hope you enjoy that. We have Excel Beyond the Basics coming up. If you want to start at the bottom, then we've got Excel Level 1 you can take, and we offer live webinars as well as recorded, that ones that you can watch at any time. When you sign up for the live ones, you get both. You get to ask questions in a live session, plus you get to watch recordings. So have fun with that, and I hope that saves you lots and lots of time. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.